Hi, I'm Doug from Photomatica Photo Booth Company. Today we're going to show you how to change the chemicals in your black and white photo booth. So follow me along this magical journey. First thing you're going to want to do is empty out all of your tanks. And when you have everything out of here, you're going to wipe down all the surfaces with a sponge to get all the dust and everything like that, because dust is bad for the chemistry and it will lead to bad pictures. So for this, you're going to need gloves to protect your hands, a thermometer because you're going to want to mix the chemicals at around 85 degrees, and a stirring stick. Okay, so you could dump all of your chemicals into the drain or the sink with the exception of bleach. So bleach is a pretty gnarly chemical, so you're going to want to check with your local laws regarding how to dispose of it properly, but you can't in good conscience put it down the sink or the drain because it's bad for the environment. So with all the other tanks, you're going to want to take each of them and clean them properly. We recommend SOS pads that have steel wool and they have some soap already in them, and you really want to get in there and scrub, make sure they're all clean and good, because clean tanks makes for good pictures. The first chemical we're going to mix is the developer. So we use powder chemicals here at Photomatica. It's easier to ship, but if you're using liquid developer, you're going to mix that first and then top it off with some water. So for this, it's a double tank. You're going to fill it up halfway or so with warm water that's about 85 degrees, and then you're going to add the powder. So take your stirring stick and get in there until it's all fully dissolved. And then, since it's a double tank, you don't want to fill it all the way to the top when you bring it to the photo booth. So fill it just as high enough as you think that you can fill it without going too close to the top, if you know what I mean. So after we finish our double tank developer tank, the next tank is what we use, and it's called a booster. So a normal photo booth kit that you buy does not come with a booster. If you don't want to use the booster, just add 2 scoops of developer to your third tank after the developer, and that's going to be just a more diluted developer. So, but for this, we're going to show you how we use the booster. So the booster, you pour 12 ounces of it, or if you're American, that's 1 beer, into the tank, and then the rest of it is water. Okay, so you can see here we have our developer tank, the double one, and then our booster tank. So what you're going to want to do is try and get them lined up as best you can. So to do this, you're going to make sure your transmission's in the off position, and then you're going to flip out. This one, it's harder to tell because it's a double tank if it's in the actual geometric center. But if you flip out this one, you can kind of see where it needs to be, and then you could adjust the tray accordingly. Because as you get more tanks on here, it's going to be harder to adjust. So if you can get it lined up here, you could pretty much get the rest of the tanks lined up accordingly. Okay, so now so far we've done the developer, the booster. The next tank after the booster is a water tank, and then the next one is the bleach. So the bleach we mentioned before is the really gnarly chemical one that has all these bad signs next to it. So if you don't have a proper way to dump that, an alternative is to just reuse the same bleach because it does not go bad, and you just top it off with more bleach. So that's what we're going to do. Just be careful with this stuff. And I'm just going to top off, if I can get the lid off. Over here. There we go. So after we added the bleach to our mix of tanks, we actually put another water tank after that, and the next chemical we're going to do is called clearing. So clearing goes in 2 tanks, and what I do is fill it up about halfway with some water that's about 85 degrees, and then we'll add our chemicals. I just kind of eyeball it evenly between the 2 tanks. Oh man. and then we'll use our stirring stick to thoroughly mix them and then fill it up and top it off with water. That's about right. This is where the real science part comes in. A little more here, more here. Perfect. Okay, after you thoroughly mix the clearing powder so that there's no granules of powder in the bottom, then you're going to go ahead and top it off with some warm water. So the next 2 tanks will be both clearing powder, and then after that, 2 more tanks of water. Alright, so our last chemical that we're going to add to the booth is called the toner. So with this one, we do the same thing we did before. We fill it about halfway up with 85-degree warm water, and then we're going to empty the contents of this into the tank and then stir. Once it's all stirred, we'll top it off with some warm water. Alright, now we stir. Okay, now that we have all the chemicals back in here, you're going to want to head and go and put whatever heating element you use. We use a heat belt around here. And then you're going to put on the splash guard. So, and then also your thermometer goes into the developer tank. So just to review here, the first tank from the feed down unit is a water tank, followed by the double developer. Then you have a booster tank. If you don't use the booster, it's just a diluted version of developer, so 2 scoops of developer and the rest water. Then you have water, bleach, water, and then 2 clearing. Then you're going to have 2 more water, toners right here, and the last 2 are water. Okay, now that we have all this fresh chemistry in the booth, I'm sure you're super excited to try and do a test strip. But keep in mind, it's going to take you about an hour for all the chemicals to reach the proper temperature for you to realize where you want to set the aperture on the camera. So, with that, the chemicals are warm and they're heated to give you a good picture. So with that, the chemicals are going to evaporate, and we recommend 1 to 2 times a week taking your water tanks, emptying them out, and putting fresh, clean water in them, and then topping off the rest of the tanks with some warm water so that they're all at the high level they need to be. So the chemicals typically last about 6 weeks. So after that time is up, you're going to do this whole thing again. Alright, that's it. Thanks for watching this video. We hope that it helps give you a general idea of how to change the chemistry in your black and white photo booth. It's our mission at Photomatica to ensure that these old machines live and thrive. So we hope this helps. If you have any further questions, check out our website and email us, photomatica.com, Photomatica.com. Thanks for watching.